What is up, guys? My name is Asteroid and welcome back to the next episode of our Pokemon competitive guide. So guys, today we are covering the Ice Dragon legendary Kyurem himself. If you guys did not know, Kyurem is one of those kind of weaker legendaries. It's definitely not the best, but of course once you access its other forms, it becomes extremely powerful, especially on the white Kyurem side of things. But anyways, if you guys are excited for today's competitive guide, make sure you smash that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it, and subscribe for some more content. We are so close to 700 subs, it's kind of crazy. But anyways, that being said, let's start off with the first Kyurem set. We have a specially offensive regular Kyurem with the Choice Scarf. As you can see, has 95 base speed, which is pretty good. It could be worse, it could be better. It doesn't quite break that 100 speed stat, which is why we are running the Choice Scarf to boost that speed and outspeed a lot of different threats. On top of that, you want to invest 252 into special attack with the modest nature. You could also go with a timid nature if you'd like to boost your speed. That is completely up to you. But paired with the Choice Scarf, I'd recommend the modest just to get the most damage out of your attacks. Now, as you can see, Kyurem is very, very powerful on both of its offensive stats. That is base 130 attack and base 130 special attack. So you can run Kyurem as a physical attacker, and we're going to be going over that set in a second here. But the thing about Kyurem is that its physical move pool isn't all that great, and this does become a problem as we move over to Karam Black, because Karam Black gets a massive boost in attack, and sadly it just doesn't have the moves to really take advantage of it. So we're gonna cover that in a sec, but for right now, you want to go Ice Beam for the stab, Psychic Force, some coverage there, especially against fighting types, which you are indeed weak to. We have Flash Cannon for the fairy types, which you are indeed weak to that as well. And we have Draco Meteor for that Dragon type attack. If you would like to not run Draco Meteor, you could run Dragon Pulse as your Dragon type stab move. You could also swap it out for another coverage move because Ice does hit Dragon types, and Dragon is only super effective against Dragon. So really the only reason why Dragon is there is just for neutral hits and the stab. So if you would rather have another coverage move such as Earth Power on there over the Dragon type attack, then you can definitely go with that. We have Earth Power, Focus Blast. You can run HP Fire for those Ferrothorns or Scizors. You could run freaking Shadow Ball or Signal Beam. It's really up to you. There are definitely a lot of other special options, but of course you can go with Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor. It is completely up to you. And for the ability, we have Pressure. Sadly, it only gets one ability, which is Pressure, and Pressure is kind of the default ability for most legends, just because if they had like another ability that actually, you know, was more beneficial, then they'd be pretty insanely broken. So they're given Pressure just so it's not too broken, but it's still, you know, an ability. So if the Pokemon is the target of a foe's move, that move loses 1 additional PP. So basically, if they want to hit you with an attack, it's going to take them 2 PP instead of 1 PP. So hopefully that makes sense. If you would like to run a Choice Specs plus Timid Nature set, keep in mind that you're going to be losing some speed, but you're going to gain a lot of offensive capabilities. So if you want more speed, go with Choice Scarf. If you want more offensive capabilities, then go with the Choice Specs. But moving on to the next and final regular Kyurem set, we have a mixed Kyurem. Now, as I was saying, its physical move pool is not all that great, and the main reason behind that is that it gets no physical ice type attacks at all. It only gets a physical ice type attack until it becomes Karam Black, and that ice type attack isn't even that great. So we're going to be running a mixed Kyurem here just for the sole purpose of having Ice Beam and having some sort of ice type stab on this set. So anyways, first off, we have Outrage as your physical Dragon type attack. You could run another stab physical move if you would like. It does get some pretty awesome physical attacks outside of course, the ice typing. We have Dragon Tail. We have Dragon Claw if you are not a fan of that confusion. We also have Iron Head or Rock Slide or Shadow Claw. Pretty much any of these moves you could run on this set. Choose which moves you think will benefit your team the most, and that is what I recommend. But you can, of course, go Dragon Claw or Outrage. That is completely up to you. We have Zen Headbutt for the coverage against the fighting types. It also has that chance to flinch, which is very, very nice. We have Stone Edge for that coverage as well. Stone Edge is pretty powerful. If you want to swap it out for Iron Head, then that is completely up to you. And finally, we have Ice Beam, which is the only special attack on this set. You could swap it out for Blizzard if you are okay with that accuracy. You could also swap out one of the physical attacks for a special attack if you would like to run like Psychic over Zen Headbutt. That is completely up to you. Customize the moveset to your liking is what I recommend. For the EVs, we have 252 attack, 4 in special attack, and 252 speed. Try to get the most out of your speed stat and your attack stat. And then you can go with a plus special attack nature, or you can go with a plus attack nature. It's completely up to you. But I would not recommend Adamant or Modest, because if you choose one of those, it's going to lower the opposing offensive stat. Since you are using both physical and special attacks, you can subtract from either special defense or defense, and it won't lower your offensive capabilities. So anyways, for the item we have Life Orb. You can go with Choice Scarf if you would like that. You can get some more speed out of it. You can also go Expert Belt, or maybe even Focus Sash, or Citrus, or Lum. It is completely up to you. There are definitely a lot of options here. You could also run like maybe Assault Vest. If you swap this to minus defense, you might even be able to get away with an Assault Vest set, which could be pretty good. And your 90 base special defense might become pretty usable, but of course that is completely up to you. But I think it is time to move over to Karam Black. Now Karam Black is a pretty interesting Pokemon. It has a super high attack stat at base 170, has some pretty insane stats, not gonna lie. I was talking about it earlier, but the one thing that really hurts Karam Black is that it doesn't have access to a really good physical ice type attack. The only physical ice type attack it learns is Freeze Shock, which is a base 140 power, 90% accuracy move. And it sounds pretty powerful on the surface, especially combined with your 170 base attack. But the problem here is that it's a 2-turn attack, and that really just doesn't work out. And that is why Karam Black is an OU, is because despite its super high attack stat, it just desperately needs access to like an Ice Punch or an Avalanche or something of that sort. So despite that, it can still put in work, and this set is pretty powerful if I do say so myself. We have max attack, max speed for an HP. With the adamant nature, you can go with a Jolly nature if you would like to boost your speed. That's completely up to you. For the item, we're going with Power Herb, which is going to allow you to launch your Freeze Shock in one turn for one time only, which is not that bad. I mean, when you consider how powerful that attack is and how high your attack stat is, I think it's a pretty fair trade. So you can go with the Power Herb, launch that Freeze Shock, pretty much kill anything in your path, and then proceed to destroy with Dragon Claw, Fusion Bolt, and Iron Head. Iron Head is of course going to give you coverage against fairy types. Fusion Bolt is a great move overall. Electric typing, 100% accuracy, 100 base power, and it doubles if it's used after Fusion Flare. Odds are you won't see too many Fusion Flares, but it's still a pretty good move, especially being 100 base power at 100% accuracy. That's definitely not that bad. It's going to give you that electric type coverage as well. And finally, we have Dragon Claw, which is of course your staple dragon type attack, and it's going to give you that dragon type coverage. You could run like Outrage if you wanted to, or maybe even Dragon Tail if you're into swapping those Pokemon out. I feel the need to mention, but of course you could swap out Iron Head for Zen Headbutt, or put Stone Edge on the set. Anyways, the next set here is a Choice Scarf Kyurem Black, a mixed Choice Scarf set, which is very, very powerful. We have max speed, max special attack, and an attack with the Naughty nature, which is going to boost your attack and lower your special defense. If you'd like to lower your defense instead, then you're going to have to put a Lonely nature, or if you would rather get more out of your special attack, then you could go with a Mild nature or a Rash nature. So of course it is your decision. I would not recommend Adamant or Modest because you're going to be kind of degrading the other offensive stats, so I would not recommend that. And seeing as we're running mixed, it's not really that great of an idea. So anyway, since we are lacking in the ice type department, we are running Ice Beam as our ice type attack over Freeze Shock. It's still going to do a lot of damage, especially with your investment and your 120 base special attack stat. Despite having a super high attack stat, Kyurem Black's special attack stat is still very, very usable. So Ice Beam is definitely pretty powerful there. We have Outrage. If you're going to be choiced with the Choice Scarf, you might as well just run Outrage and get the most out of your power. But if you are still not a fan of the confusion, then you may go with the Dragon Claw. It is completely up to you. We have Zen Headbutt for the fighting types, of course, and Fusion Bolt for that coverage. So it's pretty simplistic. Go with the Choice Scarf. You can Outrage and just destroy everything with your super high attack stat, and you should be good. But I completely forgot to mention that the ability that Kyurem Black has is Terravolt. So basically what Terravolt is going to do is it's kind of like Mold Breaker. It is basically Mold Breaker, except under a different name. So it's going to allow you to pretty much get past other Pokemon's abilities. If a Pokemon is levitating, then you're going to be able to break through that levitate and hit them with ground type attacks, even though it really doesn't matter, seeing as you aren't running any ground type attacks. You could run Earth Power if you wanted to, but yeah, that's basically what it does. If a Pokemon has Magic Bounce, you can break through that. So any ability that's going to hinder your attack is going to be negated, which is pretty powerful. So I think it's time for Kyurem White. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's time. Looking at it from a competitive standpoint, Kyurem White is definitely the better of the two forms. It is able to really take advantage of its super high special attack stat Karam Black had the super high attack stat, and here we are with the base 170 special attack stat over with Kyurem White. So basically all of their stats are reversed, and it's pretty amazing because this thing can really put in work. Anyways, though, we have a timid nature with the choice specs. You can go with the choice scarf and the modest nature if you prefer that. It really depends on whether you want more power or more speed. Of course, it's up to you. We have the Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam, Fusion Flare, and Flash Cannon, a fully specially offensive set. You can also run Life Orb if you'd like to do that, or maybe even Assault Vest. You do have base 100 special defense, so you could put that to work. You could also run like Expert Belt, or Citrus, or Lum, or I don't know. Pretty much any of those items will work out well. We have Dragon Pulse, of course, for the Dragon type coverage. You could run Draco Meteor if you prefer that. We have Ice Beam for the almighty Ice type coverage. And it's really nice because Kyurem White actually has a special Ice type attack that can put in work and actually do things and doesn't take a turn to charge. We have Fusion Flare, which is of course the opposite of Fusion Bolt. It is a special attacking move, base 100 power, 100% accuracy, and will get that boost if it is used after Fusion Bolt. As I said earlier, you probably won't be encountering many fusions. It's still a pretty nice move though, 100 base power, and it's going to do a lot of damage, especially combined with your attack stat. We have Flash Cannon for the Fairy type coverage. There are definitely a lot of options for movesets, and of course I'll leave that up to you guys. We have Max Special Attack, Max Speed, and 4 HP of course for the EVs. And for the ability, we have Turbo Blaze, which is our only choice here because we're legendary, so we only get one choice. So Turbo Blaze is literally the exact same thing as Mold Breaker and Terra Volt, except it just is under a different name. This Pokemon's moves and their effects ignore the abilities of other Pokemon. It's like Levitate and Magic Bounce. Basically everything I said about Terra Volt still applies here, which is pretty nice. But moving on to our final set, we have a mixed attacking Kyurem White with the moves Ice Beam, Outrage, Zen Headbutt, and Fusion Flare. You definitely want to go with the Ice Beam for the stab. What the hell, man? Why are you interrupting my recording? You took way too long to make them. Fine.
I present to you Kyurem.exe. So this is a bulky Kyurem with leftovers, Substitute, Roost, Ice Beam, Earth Power. So it's just meant to be like a kind of bulky, you know, just take hits, hide behind sub, heal with Roost and leftovers, deal some damage with Ice Beam and Earth Power. You could run Toxic over Earth Power if you want to be a little more stally. That's how you want to use this. It's all up to you. And for this, you could also run a Life Orb as well instead of leftovers if you so wish. But as you can see, we have 56 EVs into HP. And our HP is 405, which makes our substitutes have 101 hit points of basically be able to take 101 hit points of damage before breaking. We want this because so that way a level 100 Blissey will not be able to break our substitute with one Seismic Toss, because Seismic Toss does damage based on the user's level, so our substitute can survive more than one Seismic Toss from Blissey, or really a Seismic Toss from anything. Really, just most commonly will be Blissey. And then you just kind of put the rest into special attack and speed respectively. Again, timid nature because we want to be fast. For example, instant playing on, you know, actual cartridge like ORAS and not Showdown, and you're doing level 50 battles, then you want to change up your spread a little bit. Change your HP to 205 so your substitutes have 51. Can take 51 hit points of damage. So you can just do that and then put the remaining IVs in either special attack or speed, whichever. And back to you, Asteroid.
So anyways, Sean, thank you so much for helping me out with this competitive guide. You can find his link down there and up there. Anyways, I'll thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Peace!